Hey everybody. Yeah, I didn't notice till the last several seconds before the timer went to 0 that my cloud bot that actually allows the exclamation point chat commands to work for everyone and for me when I press the Stream Deck buttons for specific things was not even on. But as far as things I forgot to do during my first, my first pre-announced VTuber stream, there are much worse things that can go wrong. Now, where is... there we go. Alright, there I am. Hello everyone, I'm Super Change Station H. I'm an autistic gamer and writer, and this is my show. Hold on. This is... Oh. I don't have my music going on in this scene. Hold on. I have this silent because of what I was doing during my last stream. Hold on, let me see if I can... I know I should never mess with this stuff while I'm live. Just go... You probably just accept the silence at this point, but I can use this opportunity to... there we go, recalibrate my face. That's a little better. It's awkwardly silent and it's a little... Yeah, last time I used this scene, I was had it silent for some testing purposes, and Kalakaboy, hey Kalakaboy, how you doing? Saying God Gorgeous, happy God Gorgeous Wednesday. Yeah, so I forgot to add my music to this. You know what? Let's just go. Let's just cut to my game, which we're playing Pokemon Pinball. Might as well go to that now and start playing, because we're just jumping straight into the game. Usually I might use a pinball game as something of a, I don't know, I guess a warm-up, but since we're going to be playing this the whole stream anyway, I might as well jump right into it. I'm oddly enough, I realized I am not the only furry VTuber that's playing Pokemon Pinball right now, but there is something important we need to do first. And by the way, this stream is... Wait, really? Okay. I got scared and thought, like, where's the music? Okay, we're going to go ahead... Wait. Wait, how do we... Actually, I thought there was just an option. I want to start from scratch. Hold on. Pokemon Pinball, erase data. Pokedex, hold left. Hold on. Hold left and press LR 3 times. Okay, let's try this. I have to go into Pokedex. Alright. Now I have to hold left on the D-pad and press... Okay, hold on. I'm on Game Facts. Hold LR? I don't even understand. Hold up, right, and select. How? Hold on. You know what? I'll do this later. I never dreamed that just deleting the data on Pokemon Pinball would be so complex, because I'm looking at how to do it, and even on the websites it's saying, like, deleting your... It seems to be asking me to hold... needs a nearly impossible button combination, it seems like. It says, oh, this is really tricky, but you have... I'm like, just deleting the data from the game should not be like a doggone cheat code. Yep, so... thanks everyone who made it for my 4-year anniversary stream. last time around, because this is my first stream in a couple of weeks, because I ended up I really did want to do my VTuber premiere at least a month in advance. I know I got held up, delayed by at least a month, simply because I took that month off to do the autism video, because I really did want to get that out, that 3-hour breakdown I did with between Buck Angel and that mother of an autistic child. I wanted to get that out by April, which is, you know, Autism Month, whether you want to brand that Autism Awareness, Acceptance Month, whatever. I did want to get that out before then, so basically all of March I poured nearly every waking non-revenue earning moment, non-self-care and hygiene moment I had into getting that video out before April, or in early April. So that, I know for a fact that delayed my debut by at least a month of this VTuber model, which was done by Rito Bandito. It's kind of interesting because I don't know of anyone doing a surprise VTuber reveal model in the way that I did. And yeah, the whole concept, the whole storyline leading up to the reveal of the VTuber model is something that I had in one form or another roughly planned out since I started streaming back in 2020. And there are many elements of my stream, if you look back even that far, that played into the eventual storyline that really started to properly appear fully on screen in December of last year in 2023. I was teasing it a bit, but it was really in January of this year that I actually started enacting it. Yeah, so there's our first ball. Yeah, they're very generous with a grace period at the beginning where you will get your ball just launched back into play without it counting as a loss. Alright, okay, who's that Pokemon? It's Spearow! Okay, we can definitely tell what Pokemon that is. I'm going to erase, when it comes time, I'll have to do it off stream, because I thought it was just going to be a simple menu option. I didn't realize it was going to be like a borderline cheat code just to erase my game and start from scratch. And also, I do apologize for everyone who was awaiting the reveal of Pokemon Red. It is something I am passionately interested in appearing in my stream, hopefully sometime before the end of the summer. I wanted to say definitely in August, but we're closing in on the midpoint of July already, which is kind of frightening. Hey there, Azurest, how you doing? Yeah, we've got our regulars all showed up. We've got and just to make it clear, whether you are active in chat or standing guard in what I call my silent squad, I deeply and sincerely appreciate your you spending some of your time with me. Now, I know for visibility, there we go. I believe Azurest, I believe this display mode, emulating, still black and white, but emulating the Game Boy Pocket more so than the sort of cabbage green screen of the original model Game Boy, is a bit more to your preference. Oh, Azurest, you missed me? Well, I missed all of you too. I really did want to have this, because, now, I guess I might as well, I don't know, there's so much to catch up on, it's kind of, game over. Let's try the other table, let's try the blue table. Of course in black and white. And now this game was cross-compatible with both the Game Boy and Game Boy Color in full color. Now, I do not have a layout ready for the game to play this in full color, and I have a layout with my Game Boy Color frame as I like it. But I thought it would be cool, because usually you see this thought of as a Game Boy Color game. It's easy to forget that this game was, in fact, a Game Boy game with Game Boy Color compatibility. Now, so we'll be playing it in black and white today. In the future, we will be playing this in color. Maybe that'll be and the music for this, if you're not familiar, this is the music from the first season, the original introduction to the Pokemon anime in Japan, which is something that, as an American gamer in the late 90s, I was only exposed to because of lots of Pokemon fan sites would have this theme. Not this remix of it. This is a unique remix, but a more faithful rendition to the version that appeared on television as the background music for while you were browsing their website. Yeah, very great sprites on here where you can really tell even in black and white what the Pokemon are supposed to be. Awesome. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, we have a... Hey, 30-second ball save. Nice. Okay. So, I wanted to get this, my VTuber model revealed before Anthrocon, which I did attend this year. My first ever furry convention. My first ever convention whatsoever, honestly. And it was quite an experience. I didn't realize I was going to the biggest of the biggest of all furry or anthropomorphic related conventions. I haven't even been to a sci-fi or anime convention before, so going straight into something this big and so very specifically focused was interesting. But I did get a bunch of business cards made up just to hand to people I met. I did not realize that there's a huge business card collecting and trading culture relating to the, I guess apparently these sort of fandom related conventions in general, but especially furry conventions. And I have a bunch of stickers that I made specifically to decorate my own electronics and belongings. I didn't realize that there was a huge sticker collecting and trading culture with furry cons. So I ended up having because you can't just order 1 or 2 stickers, you have to get at least 10 usually. So I had a bunch of extras that I did not need. Therefore, I, by lovely accident, had a bunch of stickers of my characters to trade out and leave on tables and on basically any surface of the convention center that you could put business cards or flyers on. And I went ahead and did that because I did not plan on. I have 200 business cards that I did get specifically for people I met, and I could hand them a card with a link to my card site. It's supertrainstation.card.co.co, which is a web page with links to all my other web pages. If you are familiar with Linktree, it's kind of like that. And I ended up getting rid of all but 5 of those business cards. I will be getting a bunch more. Next year I'll come prepared. I'll have a lot more. A lot of the stickers I had were so specific to things that I was doing or interested in. We evolved Rattata into Raticate. No, I really didn't plan on handing... Oh, hey, the bonus game. We didn't get the bonus game since during the... Well, I'll be seeing... no, I won't be on camera today. And for storyline purposes, this stream will be fully out of character. Frankly, even though ironically the whole storyline was leading up to the reveal of Lunarian H, when I get back to doing the plot-related streams, I will be a human H, me on in front of a webcam. Will it be appearing on stream again? I enjoy appearing on webcam. It was only once I made very specific considerations about... I really wasn't interested in VTubing until I considered ways I could use it to tell a story in relation to... And for years, I considered Lunarian H really just me with a tail. And it wasn't until I considered the idea that what if Lunarian H and Human H were simultaneously existing separate characters, the same person, but molded by different life experiences and different histories. And a real important thing for me, the point at which I really wanted to... maybe I actually could do this VTuber thing, and this is years ago, I'm thinking of this, was the idea that, when I was developing I developed Lunarians Doorworms were my original creation. I developed Lunarians as an accessory to Doorworms and not the other way around. For those who are not familiar, Lunarians are my sort of unique alien furry species. It is the species of my avatar here. I created Lunarians because to go along with doorworms. Because I created doorworms to be symbiotic, and really the starting point for the development of Lunarians would be, what does it mean for... What would it be like? What does the human experience look like if every person had another creature they were attached to as a symbiotic partner? And that's how Lunarians developed as a concept. If it were not for doorworms, Lunarians would not exist, and I would just have I don't even know if I would have a proper persona. Like, I have some art of me as an anthropomorphic zebra and a moose, and those are just kind of, I guess, gimmicks such as it were. It wasn't something I strongly identified with, but the idea of what is a human being? How do they relate to the world? How do they relate to themselves and each other if they had another creature that was attached to their body that they were symbiotic partners with? And that's really why I feel like Lunarians were an interesting addition to my lore. Because if I just wanted to tell, for me, I'm not judging anyone else's approach to how they relate to anthropomorphic characters or aliens or world building or other creatures or beings or whatever, but my approach is, if it was just, okay, it's me, but I'm a fox, that might make for some interesting art in like a novelty sense, but as far as what is the experience of being a person, but they just have a foxtail and ears, like, that's not something that gets my attention from a storytelling perspective. What is it like to be a person, but to be the symbiotic partner of another creature that is with you your entire life? That's what got me interested in developing Lunarians as a part of my world building. My world building has a lot of development outside of Lunarians. Lunarians and Dorms are just one aspect of this sort of universe I've been writing and creating in for years. Even though I've only shared a very small amount of that fiction, and I do look forward to my stream being this Twitch stream with, Lunarian H, as you see on character with my VTuber model here, and with Human H and this other universe. All that is part of a universe, like Lunarian H and that whole storyline that I'm going to be developing on Twitch, that takes place in present day in Lunarian H's universe. But the universe, the parallel universe Earth Lunarian H lives in, has world building going back to that world's equivalent of the 1880s. And I have like 2 novel-length manuscripts in that universe set in the late 1980s. Then 2 other novel-length manuscripts set in like the 1910s. And I haven't published any of them. Some of them are very obsolete. The most recent one is ironically the one that's set in like the 1910s, which focuses on a streetcar driver named Artemis Malcolm. And he does have a Lunarian friend named Orville, who I believe I briefly mentioned in character as Lunarian H during the last stream, as people that Lunarian Age would have read about in history books and kind of idolized. And Clagaboy saying they think this VTube animation is awesome, but for them personally, when chatting, you need to see human facial reactions. Yeah, I understand. I could appreciate that. And it's kind of funny because I don't know. I think there are certain people, maybe if they are on the autism spectrum, or have other things where, not that they're adverse or repulsed by human faces, but just making eye contact with someone or looking at a person's face for long periods can be like sort of stressful for them. And I think that might be part of the appeal of VTubers to some people. Like, for instance, I know I've read even decades back, Big? What is big? I've never seen this before. What is big? Okay. Oh, it's a big bonus score of 3 million more points. Yeah, so this will be, I'll be mostly using my VTuber model for a while to come. But you know, there's the whole, oh, excuse me, I forgot to switch out of my my shocked face. Yeah, I have some pedals on the ground that I use to switch between my facial expressions, and I'm still getting used to switching between them on the fly. I was pretty good about it during my debut stream, and I had this model ready. Rito had this ready for me. Oh, darn. Okay. Yeah, Rito had this model ready for me back in January or February. No, definitely January. It was hard sitting on it all this time. The only reason I did not reveal it is because I wanted to reveal it in the way I did. And I've been learning Tokipona for the last, since the late spring of 2023. I was not as fluent in it as I would have liked to be, but I was able to be familiar enough with the language that I could, with some oversight and translations done for me by, let me, there we go. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, so there are the credits. No, so once this game is over, remind me, and I will switch over to my sort of show and tell scene, and I'll show some of the pics from Anthrocon, because that's one thing. It was a real rush. For about a month, really almost 2 months, almost every non-revenue earning, actually one more game and then we'll move on to, I'll show you some of the pics from Anthrocon. Only a fraction, because I took so many pictures. I wanted to save, I only gone through a few of them and saved the best ones to sort of show what I wanted to show off. But I've been spending almost every non-revenue earning, non-self-care, non-responsibilities related moment, getting those last couple of streams, like my 4-year anniversary stream where I ended up revealing this model, that's something that took months of preparation. I was doing preparation for that since January, arguably since November of last year. I started really even though I had all this conceptualized, a lot of the writing of, you know, the advanced controllers dialogue, a lot of the scripting and scenarios is stuff I've had written for well over a year. Something I've been conceiving of for multiple years. Something the base ideas I had for since before I started even streaming back in 2020. But for me, I wanted to definitely get my model revealed before Anthrocon, so that if I gave anyone my business card and they went and saw my stream, they'd be able to see my model, because frankly, if you're not a PNG tuber or a VTuber, it's hard to get traction in the furry scene on Twitch, and I'm not particularly targeting the furry fandom or the furry scene, but in terms of the storytelling I wanted to do, because it involves Lunarian H to the extent it does, that's probably my target audience. But I do genuinely, like, if I had to start all over right now, I probably would go mic only and just be but because I have a doggone IMDb page for professional acting work I've done. If you could find that page, I'm not going to link to it, but if you could find my IMDb page, and it's not an IMDb page that I have created myself or that I have done any editing on. Yeah, it's actually just exists due to as a natural result of my professional work on camera prior to my YouTube and career, and I've been on camera online since I was posting, Nintendo E3 2006 videos, my reaction videos from the Nintendo World Store, over to Google Video back before Google owned YouTube. So because I was everyone knows what I look like, there's no real point in preserving my identity, and I enjoy appearing on camera. And there's certain ways in which, even now that I'm VTubing, my ability to appear on camera is going to be useful to me. but I think this is going to make me accessible to a lot of people I otherwise wouldn't have been accessible to. And really the real reason I did this is for the storytelling aspects of it, and there are different stories I can tell. Like the fact, what really made me want to decide, okay, I actually am interested in appearing on camera, as such as it were, as Lunarian H, actually sort of role-playing as him, like, oh, I am actually Lunarian H in that parallel universe, streaming to Twitch from another world. What made me to start developing Lunarian H as a unique character from myself in real life was the idea of, because I've had art of me since 2005. I've commissioned art. I've had art of me as Lunarian H, but I guess what made me want to roleplay as him was the idea of, wait, all Lunarians have a doorworm. What would it be like what does it mean to not have a doorworm in this world? It's a sort of a form of disability, a form of being different, but that difference is something that us as humans in our own real world, that's just our experience as existing in our world. So what does it mean when what to any real life person is normal life is a disability for someone else? And to be clear, in Lunarian H's world, humans and Lunarians coexist on Earth together. It's not like, oh, instead of humans, Lunarians exist. Humans and Lunarians exist together in that world. And that's what made me start to explore the idea of what not having a dorm would be like for Lunarian H, how that would shape his worldview and such. But for now, why don't we... Hold on, let me just... let's switch over to our show and tell scene. So, yeah, I just wanted to start with this. This is not a picture I took. This picture here is... I'm going to drop it into chat. I'm going to drop this in chat. Where's my... Yeah, that is from a radio station website that was covering the event, just a local radio station. What this actually is, I noticed a lot of the fursuiters had these popsicles around their necks, and sometimes they were in their mouths, and I'm like, what is this weird prop everyone has? What is this popsicle thing? Is this some like in-joke I don't know about? And what I came to realize was that the popsicle has a fan built into it, so they could be pretending to eat the popsicle, and then the fan blows air into the fursuit head so that they could stay cool and not get overheated while they're performing. And it's funny because me personally, I was never into costumed characters, especially ones where you could not see the performer's face even in makeup. And like when my dear grandmother took me to Walt Disney World, she, wanted me to, she got an autograph book. She wanted me to go interact with the costume Disney characters in their suits and get autographs from them. I really did not like it. I did it, I put up with it for the sake of making my grandmother happy. I love you, Grandma, if you're watching this, because I know she's watched my show in the past. But I was never into full-bodied costume suits, especially when you couldn't see the performer's face. So I wasn't sure, honestly, how I'd even feel around all these fursuiters. Because only once before, at a non-furry, non-fandom related, was I ever around a fursuiter. And I didn't even interact with them. But when yeah, it was actually not a big deal being around them. I got a hug from one of them for research purposes, let's say. So I just wanted to show off that. Now, these are all actual pictures I took. So, a couple of the furries had Ford Model Ts. There was a bit of a car show thing going on, and a couple of them had Ford Model Ts. This was really cool. This was actually the first time I personally ever got up close to a Model T. So it was amazing seeing that up close. It's the wild thing about Model Ts is that I did not realize that they basically are just, it's like a little carriage with an engine in front. You know, there's the phrase horseless carriage, where it very literally is what would have been a horse-drawn carriage with a motor on it. But this is, I'd never realized till I saw one up close, like the, hold on, I'm looking for my, here we go, here's my photo interface thingy. Okay, so there's that. Okay, click. Okay, so if you look, okay, so these are going to be kind of out of order and kind of random. So this, I took these basically to text back to my parents and show them what was up, because it's not like I had a gaggle of friends I was with. Now, I did make some friends, but it's not like I had a little crew I was with. I had my own hotel room, and which was not a big deal for me personally. I know part of the fun for a lot of people is going with a bunch of friends, and yeah, like Azareth is saying, it's so old it's new again. So this, I didn't really dress up for the convention. I basically just wore clothes I wear out on the street anyway. So this is what I wore for the second day, and oh, okay, goodness gracious. I don't know. Okay, there we go. There's so many. Okay, so this is a giant steam engine that I encountered near an apartment complex. Okay, so there's me. There's the Model T again. Okay, so there's... So I have no idea... Oh, honestly, I have no idea which... Alright, so this is inside the convention center. It was right next to this rail bridge, which was amazing because we could see the trains up close. Now, on the roof of the convention center, you could actually look down onto the trains, and it's not often that outside of a rail bridge you can look down, because this convention center is absolutely titanic, and so I'm on like the 4th or 5th floor looking down on a bridge that's crossing the river, the Allegheny River, and this is my first time in the city of Pittsburgh. Now, oh my, okay, alright, so here are, now the first day I made the mistake of, I brought basically every portable word processing device that I own with me on this trip. The one on the left is kind of the one I use when I'm running around doing things, and I have this this pouch on my hip that the keyboard folds up, then the top folds down, so it folds down nice and tiny. I can wear it on my hip, and when I'm running around, I could do all my writing. Yeah, it's actually one of my main word processors. Like this and another device of the same functional type, but of a slightly larger form factor, are what I do 90% of my writing on, professional and recreational. The machine that's the machine on the left. The machine on the right is the FreeWrite, which is basically the machine on the left. The machine on the left, I would that's my writing machine. The machine on the right is more of a drafting machine. It's kind of a pretentious statement piece on the art of writing. It cares more, it's a little more function over, flash over function. I like it, it's nice to type on, but you cannot do really proper editing, go from beginning to end. I do a lot of recreation, I do a lot of line control poetry, where I experiment with different line lengths and swapping stanzas around. The FreeWrite machines are explicitly hostile to that process, but I carried around my big clunky briefcase with that in it, so if I ran across any writers, and there were a lot of them there, I could show it off to them, because it's a device that a lot of writers may hear about, but they might never get to see in person. So I'm never carrying that thing around in a active situation like the convention again. But this is up on the roof of the convention center, which is a good place to go outside and talk, and it was also relatively quiet. So, okay, so here is my fridge. So I've got a bunch of, up on the top shelf, you see a bunch of refrigerated meals I brought with me so that I wouldn't have to go out and eat. Now I did, get meals, I did eat outside of my hotel room, but I could have nice little meals by myself and not have to go out into someplace loud. It was a place where I could unwind and be by myself after the excitement and socializing of the convention. Now, the joke I told everyone when I showed them this picture is that I heard that I'd get a lot of people wanting to hang out in my room if I bought drinks and gummies. And of course, by that they mean like, you know, cannabis gummies and like beers and stuff. But so I had a bunch of like fruit snacks and root beer and Shirley Temples as my drinks and gummies. So there was actually a particular panel of furries that lived a sober lifestyle. Some were, you know, recovering after addiction. Some just maintained a non-drinking, non-substance lifestyle. And we were all talking about it and sharing tips and stuff. It was really neat. So let me close this one. Why does... Okay. I don't know why it keeps wanting to default to that picture of me. So here's the hotel I was staying at. I stayed at the Hampton, which, if I was a base... Now, there's like one of the hotels is actually physically adjoined to the convention center where you could just walk across a bridge. Kombucha party. Even kombucha's probably closer to actual alcohol than anything I drink. And kombucha is pretty much like virginal, but I think like there's like a billionth of a percent of alcohol that I don't know, some celebrity like Lindsay Lohan, like, I don't know, tried to, I don't know, some kind of nonsense decades ago. I don't care. So here's the hotel I stayed at, and I was up high, so I got a good view of the area. Now, I could see the convention center from my hotel room, and if I was a pro baseball player, from the parking lot of the hotel, I could easily land on the convention center property, because the convention center was right next door. And there's another hotel that's even closer, I think the Westin, that was actually physically adjoined to the convention center. It even had some convention events being held there. So, back to me. Okay. So here's this bridge. I forgot the name of this bridge, but here's this cool bridge I found. I did go walk around town and check things out. This bridge looks like a medieval portcullis, which is really cool. Now, in terms of bridges and trains, I would say by far, Pittsburgh was the best city that I've been in for bridges and trains since I left New York. Yeah, lots of bridges, lots of trains, and the bridges tend to be a lot smaller, and they're all, I believe, pedestrian accessible, at least the ones that I got close enough to see. This is the only bridge I personally walked across. And then I got real excited when I was walking the bridge, because I looked across, and on the neighboring bridge, I saw the light rail go by. And I was like, oh my gosh, light rail? Are you kidding me? This city has everything. Yeah, no light rail in New York City proper, or even on Long Island, so a light rail is something that always gets me excited in a city if they have it, especially when it's has street running configurations like a tramway or a streetcar. So I saw this and I immediately got on my camera and took a picture. Alright. And so here, they had some cruises. They were all booked like probably months in advance, but they had some cruises connected to the convention that a lot of fursuiters were hanging out on. And it was hot out, so they had drinks. Like, they had cold glasses of water with extra long straws that could go into the mouths of the suit so that the performers could have sips of water. And so there's me again. So so I gotta talk about the registration line. The registration line, apparently it went really badly this year. Apparently it went so badly that I was hearing about it for the rest of the convention. The convention chair personally apologized during the opening and closing ceremonies. And from my perspective, I think the registration officially was going to open officially at 12. They opened an hour early. And even opening an hour early, I got there about 25 minutes tops before the doors opened. And I I don't think I was outside for more than 40 minutes tops. And when I was inside, I don't think I was in there for more than an hour. And the whole time I was having so much fun talking to the people that were in line with me but whereas other people were waiting there all day, and apparently it took a lot longer for other people than for me. Now this is my first Furcon, my first convention whatsoever. So from my perspective, it did not take long at all. But apparently it was a huge deal to the point where it was the talk of the convention. And from my perspective, and mind you, I apparently was just guided by the hand of good fortune, and basically went there at the exact moment to get registered on day one, because I was pre-registered. I guess for the people who were not pre-registered, it took even longer. So I pre-registered back in like January, and I guess I had the optimal possible line experience, relatively speaking, where I got onto the convention floor as quickly as possible with the least waiting in line. So I really didn't have the nightmare experience that some had. And I mean, if you were in a fursuit, I guess that would have been extremely hot if you were out there for hours, but I was not in a fursuit, so... there's me again. Okay, so here's another picture from the boat cruise. I texted my friends, with the joke, oh, Noah's Ark confirmed real. Yeah, that was, yeah, so here's, so there was a giant, so that sticker here, I'll zoom in on it. No, can I? Yeah, so this sticker here, I got lucky in that I had a bunch of Autism Pride stickers that I had just to decorate my own stuff. I did not realize there was a huge culture around sticker trading and collecting with these cons, and bombing specific designated targets with stickers. So here's a giant box that was set up in front of a restaurant called Pizza Parm. They had a couple of other of these, like, in the convention. Pizza Parm is apparently a huge friend of the convention going years back, and there's a particular culture revolving around people attending the convention, going to this particular pizza place, and there was another one next to it that I forgot what they're normally called, but during the convention they changed their name to Furryland. So I ended up having a bunch of stickers that I made, some of my characters, the Autism Pride flag stickers and other things, where I was able to trade them and leave them for people, and I had a bunch of my own business cards just to give to people I met. I didn't realize that people just collected business cards. People just left, they'd leave, I'd watch people come up, they'd leave a business card on the table, and then they'd take 5 or 6 others of the ones that were on there and just add them to their collection. And, people putting them in binders and stuff like that as part of their memoirs. And, of course, most of those business cards had cool things to check out on them. So here's from the parking lot of the hotel I was at. That building on the left with those masts and with the steel wires on them. That is the convention center. So I was within a professional baseball pitcher's throw from the convention center. It was like a 5-minute walk tops. And my hotel was far enough away that there were shuttle buses. If it was at any other convention, that would be easy walking distance if you were an able-bodied person. But because this convention has so much of an emphasis on costumed performers, walking that far in a full costume is a long walk, especially if it was rainy, and it was a relatively foggy, rainy kind of weather, which kept it from getting too hot for the most part. Okay, so here's me with my free write. When I'm wearing my high-frequency noise reflectors that I wear a lot of the time when I'm outside of my apartment, regardless of where I'm at. That makes it a lot calmer. Well, the actual brand is called Calmer, which makes it a lot easier to function as far as noise distractions and ambient high-frequency noises. It's not so much a high decibel concussive noise protection, but they just reflect those higher frequency noises, and a lot of people with autism and other neurodevelopmental or sensory issues like me use things like that. And there were, a lot of people there who had full-on ear protection, and even the ear protection, like such as that you might wear in a factory or an industrial site or a construction site, those are still designed to let you hear people around you and potential hazards. They don't completely deafen or isolate the wearer, though there's an isolating effect to them. So these avoid that isolating effect and just make it, if the volume's at a 7 and you need it at a 6.5, these high frequency noise reflectors do that. Made it a lot easier for me to function in general, and especially at this convention. So moving on. Well, there's me again. So there was this rail bridge on, my hotel was on Smallman Street, and I think the cross street was Elizabeth. There's a freight train bridge, and the cool thing about the bridge is you can see it in the rust here. There's a worn down Pennsylvania Railroad emblem on the side from back in the day, because I'm in Pennsylvania. This is former Pennsylvania Railroad territory. So even decades and decades and decades after the collapse of the Pennsylvania Railroad, we've got the fading remnants of the Pennsylvania Railroad emblem on the side of the bridge. Oh, and there's a Northern Suffolk locomotive. There were two on the front of this train, pulling some freight. Yeah. Oh, 11th. I know it was E and TH, so I went from 11th. I thought Elizabeth. No, it's 11th and Smallman was this corner I was standing on that morning. This is the morning of the 4th, the first day of the actual convention. I entered town on the 3rd to check into my hotel and get settled. And as I was heading towards Pittsburgh, it was kind of wild, because even several hundred miles out, because from where I left from, I was several hundred miles out from my previous stop to Pittsburgh, and you could tell which cars were heading to Pittsburgh, and I saw them later, some of them at my hotel. So here's the light rail, the blue and silver lines. I didn't ride the train this day, but this is when I stumbled upon the train station, and I just snapped a pic of the blue line train that was heading in as it was heading inbound. And also, for all the trains I've ridden, this is technically Pittsburgh is technically, well, actually, literally the first underground train that I've ridden on. The first subway I've ridden on outside of New York City, where I grew up, which is kind of exciting. So here we've got a whole bunch of... Oh no, so this is from the roof of the convention center, and that building in the middle in the distance, that is the hotel I was staying at. So you can see from the top of the convention center the hotel right there. Probably only a few thousand feet as the bird flies, but you had to, walking, block by block by the street, it's a little further than that. But if I had a zip line, I could have zip lined straight over to my hotel. So here's the giant pizza parm box that was inside one of the ones that was inside the convention center. Yeah, all these stickers that people made just to trade and stick on designated targets specifically for sticker abuse. Hey there, Reliet. Yeah, so hold on. Yeah, I'm a VTuber now. I'm never going. This is an out of character stream. If you want to catch up, if you check out my last stream from a couple of weeks ago, my 4-year anniversary stream, not 5 years. It hasn't been that long yet. But yeah, I had the conclusion of the first arc of the Advanced Controller storyline was Human H being sent to the penalty zone and being replaced by Lunarian H. Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, it's easy to pull off when you have a persona that's relatively based on my real life self. Yeah, you don't have to understand. You just go with the flow. And hey, Aureliet, if you were there live, the reveal of the VTuber model was totally unannounced. I kept it a secret. So if you want to check that out, I was planning this for months. It took dozens and dozens of hours of work to pull that reveal off the way I did. And right now I'm going through, we're pausing Pokemon Pinball, and we're going through some photos I took of Anthrocon 2024, my first ever furry convention, my first convention whatsoever actually, which was very exciting. Reliet saying they were super busy with their jobs, so they haven't been able to watch many streams. Did I rig and model it myself? Oh yes, I commissioned this from... There you go. A link to them is in the credits, to Rito Bandito, who did this model for me. They delivered this model for me back in January, and it was really hard sitting on this for more than half a year, because I didn't want to reveal it, because I wanted to go through the whole storyline that introduced because here's the thing, it's not like Human H got transformed into Lunarian H. Lunarian H is a simultaneously existing separate character from Human H. And so, really it's saying, how many proto-gens did I see at Anthrocon this year? Now, I don't have many of the photos I'll be sharing today. I have too many photos to share in one setting. But I saw tens of dozens of proto-gens at Anthrocon. And if a proto-gen is a sort of a range of creatures that are distinguished by their sort of snout and their face and their muzzle being a digital display screen that displays their mouth and eyes and their facial expressions as a digital readout. And yeah, proto-gens are fairly recent in the furry community, but the styling of them makes them very accessible for partial suits, where really the headpiece is the main distinguishing factor of a proto-gen, and they're very well adapted to being adapted into things like motorcycle helmets and such. I took some pictures of some proto-gens, and you know, it's funny, Reliet, for me being in the furry community since 1999, I was never big into fursuits. I was never big into costume performers in general, and this was the first environment where I was around full-bodied costume performers and I didn't feel uneasy. I even got a hug from one of them that I, asked permission for and got a picture with them for let's just say, research purposes. Might I become a fursuiter someday? It could happen, but it would not be a suit of Lunarian H. It would not be a suit of a character representing me. I had a very specific concept for a character that I would want a suit of, and it's interesting because I'm not going to divulge the lore now, but it's a character or a creature that is very specifically a shell that is inhabited by other beings. So the idea of this creature being the character is not a fursuit themselves, but yeah, it's just an interesting concept where I don't feel like Lunarian H here that you see in the VTuber model. In the context of his lore and universe, Lunarian H is a person. He goes to work, has a job, lives alongside human beings. He's more of a person than a creature, such as it were. So I feel like, to me, a fursuit would not be my ideal way to depict him. But, and even if I had infinite money, the concept for this suit is so off the walls. And it would be even amongst fursuits, it would be very expensive to, Azurest Hermit Crab. Yeah, that's not literally, but it's kind of an interesting idea. The but let me get back to the photos. Excuse me. So here's the sticker wall. We've got this giant sticker pizza box. There's me again. Yep. So I don't know. In spite of all of what one may be led to believe, I do not watch Thomas the Tank Engine often at all. Basically, on Christmas Day, I might just put on Thomas the Tank Engine as background noise, or if I am in a situation like if I am, staying in a hospital, which is not a happy situation, or if I am sick and at home and on a bunch of medicine and seeing pink elephants and stuff, I'll put on Thomas the Tank Engine as something comfy to fall asleep to. It is sort of like breaking out my fine wine that I might break out once or twice a year when I put on some Thomas the Tank Engine. But I opened up YouTube on my hotel TV and put on some while I was eating my meal on my first night. So that's what that's a picture of. And so here is on the corner of 11th and Smallman, which is the street that my hotel was on. And that white building you see there is actually part of the convention center. And this is where I would stand around and wait for freight trains to come by, which you were guaranteed to see at least 1 or 2 freight trains a day. There were other trains that came and went, but you typically didn't really get to see them. You'd hear the horn go off and you hear the diesel locomotives pass, and you hear the cars clattering by, but you did. Yeah, it was a great city, the best bridges and tunnels city, the best bridges and train city since New York, since I left New York. So here's that bridge I was walking across earlier. These are pictures in no particular order. Oh, and because the convention center building is kind of tiered, like a big wedding cake, I guess you could say. There were lots of sort of little outdoor garden areas that I think helped dissipate some of the heat from the building, because this is a fairly new building, so lots of green, eco-friendly design elements were built into it. So there are lots of local plants growing on top to help pollinate, to provide for the pollinators, the bees, dragonflies, and wasps, and the butterflies. And so it was nice to go outside and walk amongst the plants a bit. And, here's a picture with a bunch of suitors lined up for a picture. Yeah, fursuiters, not like suitors like they're all gonna marry somebody. I just realized the multiple. And I guess that building across the street used to be some kind of pants or some kind of clothing factory, because it says trousers on it. So here's a close-up of some of the stickers that were being stuck on the sticker wall. Here we have a Viper wiping themselves off with a scarf, it looks like. Yeah, I just sort of took a random close-up. And someone used one of the Autism Pride stickers that I had to pass out. I didn't plan on passing these out, I just happened to have a whole bunch of them. And there was an autism meetup, for, people at the convention that had autism and other neurodevelopmental divergences and disabilities. I was proud to see, oh my gosh, someone took one of my stickers and put it on the sticker wall. And there were several sticker walls that ended up having my stickers on them, which is pretty cool. But next year I'm actually going to specifically create. I only happen to have those stickers with me by sheer chance. Next year I will have a lot more of them and many more varieties. Like, I know Doorworms would definitely have been very popular if I had stickers of them specifically, but I know a bunch of people ran off with stickers of my Sona, which is kind of cool, as well as my many business cards that I had. So we're running low. We only have a few more pictures left to share. So here's a picture I took from on top of the convention center. Here's a couple of locomotives from a company called Carload Express with a bunch of, I think they had a bunch of grain or something. And here's the brown Model T. Now, I did not even realize until today, actually, when I was preparing the first, because I have about 3 times as many photos as these to show off. But I did not realize that, there were multiple Model Ts that furries brought to the convention. This one was a brown one, and then there was a black one. Now, historically, the Model T only came in black, so this brown one was something custom that someone did, some sort of aftermarket feature. Now, I was amazed. I never got to see under the hood of a Model T before. And I'm like, wow, this engine barely takes up half of the bonnet. So it's just like this little tiny engine. And I think of a horseless carriage as being an even more primitive classification of car than the Model T. But the Model T, seeing this little tiny engine in it, I'm like, yeah, this really is just sort of more sophisticated horseless carriage. And we only have... Okay, so here's another sticker wall. This one was inside the convention center, where someone used one of my Autism Pride stickers again, which was kind of neat. And and there's me. And so that's all the photos of the for today. Next time, not next stream, but maybe next Wednesday, I will have more photos to share of my Anthrocon 2024 experience. Yes, I definitely will be back next year. So for now, how about we get back to... Actually, it's been an hour. How about I get up and take a stretch break? How about I get up and take a stretch break, and when we come back, we will play some more Pokemon Pinball. Why is it taking forever to switch to my... Oh, come on. Why is it taking... There we go. Yeah, so for the first time, when I come back, anyone who walks in on me during the break is actually going to get to see Lunarian H on cam, live and talking to them, and not get misled by my break screen having art of Lunarian H, and then they just get to see human H on camera when I'm back. So now, for the first time ever, my stream is technically not, my break screen isn't misleading technically. So let me go ahead, set the timer for 5 minutes, and I will be back with more, we'll be back with more Pokemon Pinball. Hey, I am back. Alright. Let me just get everything back up. Oh, Serial Walrus. Hey there, Serial Walrus. You may be in for a bit of a surprise when I get back to the game. Hi! Hey, I bet you weren't expecting this unless you saw my previous stream. Okay, you saw the chat. Oh yeah, I forgot I put it in the doggone title. I forgot. Okay, now if I don't know, Serial Wars, I don't know if you got to see my 4-year anniversary stream, but this stream is fully out of character, by the way. There are no advanced controllers, not gonna call or 40 line or any of those crazy characters. Yeah, my 4-year anniversary stream not concluded, about halfway through the stream. Basically, the advanced controller ended up actually following through on his repeated threats on banishing Super Train Station H, Human of Redemption Center 1, to his penalty zone. And once he did that, he realized, oh no, there's no one to host the show now. So he went around shopping through different parallel universes at for different versions of me, until he came upon Super Train Station H, Lunarian of Redemption Center 5, who is going to be hosting the show while Human H is indisposed. Eventually, Human H will return in future streams, and Lunarian H and Human H are simultaneously existing separate characters. It's not like Human H has been killed off or anything like that. They are going to be simultaneously existing separate characters who may not necessarily see eye to eye on everything. I'll just leave it at that. It'll be very interesting. But this stream is fully out of character. You missed it earlier. I was sharing. Now, coincidental to that, and perhaps very appropriately so, I was at Anthrocon 2024 last week. My first ever furry convention. My first convention whatsoever. And yeah, it was quite an interesting experience. Something I definitely am glad I did. After being involved in the fandom in some way or another since 1999. In some ways being really into it, in other ways sort of in some way it's like if you were to compare it to video games, in some ways I was like the Wii Sports grandma of furries, in other ways I was like the most hardcore person ever. So it's kind of like, okay, is a convention really for me? Am I gonna seem like, is it gonna be really gatekeepy in person? Where it's like, oh, you're not, because I've had gatekeepy stuff online over the years where people in the furry fandom are like, you're not a real furry, you're a poser. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally faking being part of the section of nerd culture that other nerds make fun of to feel normal, as the joke has been said over the years. The nerds that other nerds make fun of. Yeah, I'm totally making fun of that for clout. So totally getting involved in this and pretending to be involved for clout, of all things. If there was something I was going to pretend to be for the sake of clout, I guarantee you this would not be it. But yeah, it was a cool experience, and I shared only about maybe 20% of what I would be interested in. Will there be out-of-character streams featuring Human H? From time to time. I kind of want to keep, both. I kind of want to keep the gears rolling, because I actually to go on the behind-the-scenes technical aspect of it. I've had my motion capture software is using a different webcam than the webcam I use to appear on camera. And actually, the camera I'm using for my motion capture software is the camera that I started streaming with back in 2020 as my on-screen webcam. And then once I got my fancier, newer webcam, that's when I swapped over to... That's when I started using my old webcam as my console cam, back when I was doing that. And I retired the console cam a while ago. And when I started setting up for doing my VTuber streams, that's when I got my console cam out of, wiped the dust off of it and used it as my motion capture camera. That's the reason I was able to go so smoothly between using my webcam and, appearing on camera and using my VTuber model. Because I know, like, for instance, for VTubers who use a motion capture camera, when they do, like, if they do a subathon or something, and like, if so many people donate or subscribe, I'll do a face reveal and actually show my face on camera. For a lot of them, it's kind of complicated figuring out how to do it, and they have to quit out of their VTuber software and rig everything up. For me, I didn't have to do that because it's not easy to switch between your motion capture software and using your webcam to actually appear on camera. Whereas for me, it was all I have to do is just press a button, and because I have both my webcam and my motion capture camera on and active right now. Whereas for a lot of people's setups, it's not set up for them to easily do that. So I could very easily appear on camera right now if I wanted to. Like, if Mr. Beast came in to my stream right now and said, hey, listen, if you appear and show your face on camera right now, I'll give you $1 million, I could very easily press a button on my stream deck and do that. So we're playing on the red table. Well, let's switch over to the blue table. There we go. Yeah, so my next stream, and one thing I'll be honest, as far as the continuation of the storyline, I know I did tease, and I've been planning the entire time, for the years, I've been teasing, when I reveal Pokemon Red on my stream, it's going to be something special. Oh, you just wait and see. That entire time, for going back years, I always planned to use Pokemon Red as sort of a teaser, as a sort of bait for the reveal of my VTuber model. Now, I did actually genuinely intend for after this stream, I did plan to do a fully out of character stream, and then maybe just play a couple of games. Like, I'll be playing next Saturday. I'll be playing Little Revenge of the Gator and a new game, Solar Striker. I did plan on starting Pokemon Red after that. I will be pausing on Pokemon Red. I didn't even start Pokemon Red. I'll be holding off on that till later in the summer, because aside from Pokemon Red, one of the games I've wanted to play since the beginning of my stream is Beyond Good and Evil, and that game is coming up. The 20th anniversary of that game finally came out for all current gen systems. I already downloaded the Nintendo Switch version of it. I forgot. If I didn't make a layout for it yet, I could very easily do so. In a couple of weeks, I will be premiering Pokemon Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition on my stream. And I will be playing through that, and then the next major game I will play after Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition will be Pokemon Red. I don't know how long it'll take me to play through Beyond Good and Evil. What I want to do for now is, for my Saturday streams, my longer streams, to probably be more focused on the major game I'll be playing. It'll be, a major RPG, something bigger like Beyond Good and Evil or Pokemon Red. And then my weekday streams, like my Wednesday streams, will probably be like me watching old videotapes or, playing little arcade games like this. And leaving my longer streams for those bigger, longer-term games. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be the format I'll be experimenting with for a while. Though for near term, like, hold on, let me look at my schedule I have coming up, of what I have coming up. So, actually, I guess I could just go to my About page. So what I have lined up, because some of the stuff on my About page, I don't even have in my sort of toolbox doc that I use to. Alright, so on Saturday the 13th, this coming Saturday, next stream, it'll be Revenge of the Gator. Hold on. The 13th, this coming Hold on. Didn't want to have that echo going on. So on Saturday, I'll have Revenge of the Gator and Solar Striker, both for Game Boy. Wednesday the 17th, it'll be some Versus Pinball and some old VHS stuff. Then next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but the one after that, the 20th. Wow, already into the deep into the back half of July. I'll be beginning Beyond Good and Evil. Wednesday, just a little Pac-Man, and probably, it seems like it's going to be a Pac-Man variety stream. But then I'll be playing Beyond Good and Evil each Saturday, and then on the Wednesdays, it'll be Beyond Good and Evil. So that's what's going on for there. Now let me get back to my. There we go. Yeah, I'm back to my actual gameplay. Yeah, so that's what's going on in terms of the near-term future. After Beyond Good and Evil, I might play enough, for a little. For those who don't know what Solar Striker is, it's a game I've never even played before. It's a game that I had in my library by coincidence, because I happened to see it in a pawn shop. Then, only within no more than a month ago, by sheer chance, I learned the actual history of that game, and I was like, wow, okay, I'm glad I ran into this. This was definitely a game that, if I did not already have it in my collection, I definitely would have been interested in adding it to my collection and playing it. Because it definitely has a unique history on the Game Boy. So we'll be playing that, and then the Saturday after next is the beginning of Beyond Good and Evil. Now, Beyond Good and Evil is going to be very, very interesting because, not with the exception of Super Mario Odyssey for Switch, which I played closing in on a year ago, if not already a year ago, because I didn't realize when I was playing Odyssey that I was only playing the last couple of hours of the game. But Odyssey right now is the newest game I've ever played on stream. With the excepting Odyssey, the most recent game I've played on stream is, I guess, Freedom Planet, and that's a retro-styled game anyway. You know, it's a 2D pixel platformer from like 2017 or 2016 or something like that. Alright. So as far as the gameplay style, the most modern game I've ever played is Super Mario Odyssey, which I only did a single stream of, or 2 streams of max. So Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition, an HD remaster of a game from 2003, is effectively going to be the most recent and most modern game I've ever featured on my show. And that being 21 years old at this point, you know, an HD remaster of a 21-year-old. Just the fact that it's even in full polygonal 3D makes it radically more modern in playstyle. And the funny thing is, even for 2003, Beyond Good and Evil was effectively 15 years, or 10 or 15 years ahead of its time in terms of presentation, gameplay style, the interface, the storytelling. Yeah, definitely a game ahead of its time, and a game I always wanted to feature, and a game, I mean, the fact that when I downloaded Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition, it was the first time that I have given Ubisoft money since I got Rayman Raving Rabbids for the Wii, and that was the first Rayman game. I mean, that was my interest in the Rayman series. Now the Rayman Origins and Legends games came out, and they took a while to come out on Wii. I happened not to get them, and so someday I'll play those. You know, I really miss Ubisoft really does need to, even if they don't do a remaster, even if they just made it available on the Nintendo Switch Online's N64 app, if they made Rayman 2 The Great Escape available, heck, even the original Rayman has never, the only Nintendo native port of the original Rayman to ever come out was the one on, trying to think, it was on the Game Boy Advance as a launch game, and I had it. Now, they had to mess with, they made Rayman sprite a little bigger, so it's a little clunkier, and of course the audio quality is going to be better on the PlayStation and Saturn versions of that game. Okay. Alright, so my weekday streams, I do intend to be on the shorter side. So probably we're going to call it around 7:30-ish. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Launch. Okay. And down into the pit it goes. Yeah, I just remembered. I have a bag of potato chips. I have so much snack food left over from Anthrocon that I didn't eat in my hotel room. I have like a bag of potato chips. I was like, ooh, I've got some hot sauce I could have on that. Yeah, we evolved our Spearow into Fearow. Cool. So we evolved several Pokemon, though. I do intend to reset this game and start from scratch. Oh, bonus time. Go to Meowth stage. Yeah, the first time I played this game, this mini game. Okay, we want to knock the mess out of Meowth to take those coins of his. Okay. Yeah, and we got to fill that whole line on top. No. Okay, we're not doing that great, honestly. There we go, we collected that one. Really, only one? Only one? We only collected one? Okay, that counted as two. Oh! Alright. Now, if you notice this sort of styling for the mini-games is really taken directly from Revenge of the Gator. Because this game actually runs on the same engine as Revenge of the Gator. Oh, we ran out of time. End Meowth stage. Aw. Sad day for us, we didn't win. Okay. It's cool, though. Okay, what do we get? And Ketchum mode! Let's go. Let's catch another Pokemon, even though we're not keeping them long term, but... Alright, we're gonna bounce around on these shelters. Ah, we got a Geodude. And of course the cries for the Pokemon are taken directly from red, blue, green, and yellow. Because this, you know, we're on the same system, so it's very easy, I'm sure, to export those sound files and incorporate them into this game. Now, oh. There we go. Oh, got him. Yeah, we didn't know, holding our breath. We know if the Pokemon goes inside the Pokeball in this game, we know we've got him. Alright. And launch. Okay. So what was I was talking about, so before I was talking about my near-term plans, I do want to play a lot more relatively more modern games. Like I've got like Metroid Prime Remastered. I've had that on my I've had that physically for Switch for over a year now. I have yet to pop it in, and I have not played Metroid Prime since my original playthrough of the game back when it came out on GameCube. So I'm gonna be as fresh on Metroid Prime as I possibly could be. Now, Pokemon, I mean, I have memorized to a rough extent, but I have not played Pokemon since 2008, Pokemon Red and Blue. So yeah, and Beyond Good and Evil I have not played. I'm in such a fortunate position, and that a lot of my favorite games, my most influential, beloved games of all time, I have not actually played since I originally played them. I'm not the kind of person who frequently unless it's an arcade type game like Versus Pinball or Pac-Man, I do not frequently replay specific games even if I like them a lot. Alright, so is this going to be game over? Alright, so let's do, for the road, one more round on the red table, and then we'll call it a stream. Hey, so we're in Lavender Town. In fact, before 2008, the previous time I played it was 2005. And 2005, I had a lot of distinct memories of Lavender Town because of, I remember, like, it was kind of interesting because a family member had passed away around the time I was in Lavender Town, so, you know, being in the tower full of people, like, you know, mourning lost loved ones, in this case it was, you know, lost Pokemon instead of a lost family member, but it was, and, yeah, and the family member that passed away was one of the cool ones. Actually, I would say that the family member that passed away was really the first person aside from my parents, that I sat down and shared furry with. And all I really was just me showing off all the anthropomorphic Pokemon fan art that I found online, or Pokemorphs as they were and still are called. And hold on, let me take a moment there. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, you could save and start off from where you were at, but it makes you quit out of the game. There we go. Launch. Yeah, I do want to make a layout for a full color layout for Pokemon Pinball, because I have it in monochrome mode here, but I think it would be I like playing game. It's funny because I personally, like, I didn't want to play Link's Awakening DX. I specifically wanted to play the black and white version because that's what I had growing up in the early 90s. Actually, more like the mid-90s, I guess you could say, but because that's when I first played Link's Awakening in 95, I think. But that's why I didn't want to play the DX version. Whereas here, I'm playing Pokemon Pinball in black and white. But the one time I rented it and played it in Game Boy Color, where of course it was presented in full color. But I think for my purposes, really I did specifically choose this game to be the game that would be used for my reveal stream. And the whole Game Boy Night thing, if I switch over to that, yeah, so here's the Game Boy Night mode. It's the mode called Neon Matrix Pinball. Yeah, it's a mode called Neon Matrix Pinball in the Analog Pocket thing. And so the idea of a model of Game Boy from another world was, I thought, would be a cool way to sort of introduce Lunarian Age, to go from playing it in black and white on Game Boy to be playing it in like red and black on this Game Boy Night, this fictional parallel universe Game Boy model that displayed in a manner kind of reminiscent of the Virtual Boy. But yeah, I can't say, I mean, it definitely will be a while before this game reappears in any case, because next stream on Saturday I'll be playing Revenge of the Gator and what was the other game? I keep forgetting the name. And Solar Striker for Game Boy. So I'll be playing this mode, and also maybe the original green screen OG Game Boy mode. But I know for a lot of my viewers, these sort of more true, like, because what the thing is, this mode simulates the physical nature of the original model Game Boy that is depicted in my layout frame, and how that screen reflected light and displayed the image. Whereas this This is more of what the game truly would have looked like. It's like how it would look on a Game Boy Pocket. So this mode here, it's kind of interesting because this is how, what do you see here? This is how I played. I never had Game Boy Pocket. This is how Game Boy games looked to me. Playing them on my unit back in the day. And my friends had Game Boy Pocket. I went straight from Game Boy Pocket to the original model Game Boy to Game Boy Color. But when playing Pokemon on Game Boy, it looked like this. This sort of look to the screen, this green tinted look, is how Pokemon looked for me. This is what my nostalgia is linked to. And this is my experience of playing the game. So that's game over just after 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And so I will call it there. This was never meant to be a big, long stream. And my weekday streams are going to be on the shorter side, I believe. Now, I will be back on Saturday, the 13th at 6 p.m. with Revenge of the Gator, a Game Boy launch window game running on the same engine as Pokemon Pinball. But more exciting, I'll be playing Solar Striker, which came out in, the copyright date is 1989, but it actually released in January of 1990. And now Solar Striker is interesting because it is basically the only ever scrolling spaceship shooting game that Nintendo has ever released. So I am going to send you all over to, let's see if they're still streaming. They are still streaming. I'm going to send you over to Redacted Cat, who is actually has their Redacted Cat's VTuber model is from the same creator that did my VTuber model, and they're playing Hexen 2, which is, if you're not familiar with Hexen, it's kind of a supernatural, it's a first-person shooter with a bit of a supernatural flavor to it. So I will send you all over to them. I will see you all next time, and thank you so much for watching.